And I think no one would see this just exceeding, which I hope it does, because I think you have some really talented people behind this, a great studio behind this. Something very surprising, and if you're not aware, we're getting more Texas Chainsaw Massacre, but not in the way you'd expect. So, the studio A24, which they are, they're on a tear. It seems like they've been on a tear for a long time, and they've had multiple Oscar nominations, multiple Oscar wins. They won with Best Picture with Everything Everywhere All at Once, which is a crazy phenomenal film. Maybe was it 2 or 3 years ago? And A24 is also behind one of the most Emmy-ridden shows, Beef, with Stephen Yun and Ali Wong. That show was a powerhouse of award season stuff. And Beef season 2 is coming back in April, I'm pretty sure, with different characters. So it should be pretty fun. But A24 coming to produce a Texas Chainsaw Massacre TV series with Glen Powell to as one of the producers, and JT Mollner as the writer. Which, if you are not aware of JT Mollner, he did a little film called Strange Darling. Came out, I want to say 2 years ago, and it's crazy good. It's one of those little films that shock you and surprise you in the best type of way. You never really know where it's going. It seems like you kind of know what will come, but you're like, whoa, this is what's going on. And he is a great writer in the sense of that, where it seems like he's anticipating certain audience reactions and he's gonna switch it depending on the moment. And he also was a writer on The Long Walk, which is one of my favorite films last year. It is crazy good how just visceral it is, and the message behind it is really beautiful. So, with Texas Chainsaw Massacre, can it work as a TV series? Because Texas Chainsaw has always been a one of those horror villains that has kind of eluded me, and it's like he's not like a cool horror villain. Like, you think of cool horror villains, you think of Freddy, you think of Jason, you think of Michael Myers, you think of Ghostface and Scream. Like, those are like the quote unquote cool horror guys. But Texas Chainsaw with Leatherface, he's tough to look at because he's not the prettiest dude. He's very ugly. But there we go. There's a shot with the so Glen Powell on the left, JT Molnar on the right, coming together to craft this show. And so Glen Powell is from Texas, so he's like he was essentially saying being a Texan, the film itself, the 1974 film, has a big love for Texas, and that whole audience loves it there. So, David, what say you about a Texas Chainsaw TV show? Do you think it could work?
I think it definitely could work, especially with how well some horror shows are doing recently, like The Last of Us and the Welcome to Derry show. So
Welcome
taking
to
on
Derry. Oh my God,
yes, yes, it's
Derry.
good. So taking on an existing IP like Texas Chainsaw, I feel like, I feel like if it's done well, and it's got some good people behind it, I feel like it would do well. It'd be successful.
Yeah, I think we I'm glad you brought up Welcome to Derry, because that is, I mean, granted, like, the story of it and Pennywise is rich with the book. Texas Chainsaw, I don't know if there's been any novels of sort. I'm assuming not. There's been a lot of films, depending on the lore, I don't know what they could tie on. But what really has me enamored, and what really could make this special, is just like I said earlier, with Leatherface being not like the cool horror villain. He's very tough to look at. Being A24, and A24 is really well known. They touch on a lot of different genres. They haven't really touched on like super fantastical things, even though they are. Oh, they're tackling the Elden Ring movie. I think they're attached to it.
You're doing Elden Ring?
Yeah. So the
Wow.
the, the director of Civil War, Alex Garland, he's attached to it. I'm pretty sure you sent me an article one day about it.
Oh, I
Maybe it
think I
was a while
did.
ago.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
So yeah,
yeah.
so I think A24 is attached to that. Well, because also A24 was attached to Civil War. I'm pretty sure it was. I could be wrong. All they need to do with Leatherface is just really, like, the thing about great villains are the ones that we can connect with and relate to in a sense, and just understand. And with the TV show format, I think Welcome to Derry did it really well too with giving us the backstory of Pennywise and letting us to understand him more. That's what this show could do for Leatherface, for Texas Chainsaw. Just give us a broken character and give us more of who he is and why he does what he does so we can understand him. And, I'm very curious who's going to play Leatherface. You got to cast someone who has the chops that can pull that off. And with A24, I feel like that's a direction they would go where it's like you get the emotion from him, you can understand him more. Therefore, once you go with him throughout the series, you're just kind of fighting with like the audience is fighting with ourselves. We're like, oh, I feel so bad for him, but he's a bad guy. He is just a very bad guy. I don't know. The potential for this, I feel like, is super high. And I think no one would see this just exceeding, which I hope it does, because I think you have some really talented people behind this, a great studio behind this. And I'm pretty sure what I've read from one of the articles is that they are doing, oh, yeah, that they're doing a Camp Crystal Lake prequel that's in relation to Jason. So they're cranking out horror left and right. So that's always interesting to see. So curious to see how that shakes out. But what's really cool is like with the world of horror right now in the film in films, in TV, we're in like a renaissance. I mean, last year was a stacked row of great horror films. Final Destination, you had Weapons, you had Bring Her Back. We were just talking about the Filippo brothers before. You had some great horror television with, in my opinion, Alien Earth. I loved Alien Earth. I don't understand the flack it gets. I get it because of the last episode. Other than that, first preceding episodes were freaking great. Loved it. And then we also had Welcome to Derry. Just exceeded every expectation. That show was showstopper. It was so good. So coming into 2026, curious to see how this Texas Chainsaw show shakes out because it could be pretty darn good if we make them relatable. If we make them, if we connect to them on emotions. But yeah, very excited to see how that shakes out. Let us know your guys' thoughts. What do you think about a Texas Chainsaw show coming? Do you think it can succeed? What do you hope to get out of it? Curious to hear your thoughts.